Welcome back. Joe Blasco here with Deborah Lamia Denavar and Matthew Mungle. Deborah, tell me about Lamia Denavar.
Oh boy. You don't really want the true story, do you?
I certainly
It's
do.
okay.
We all want the true
Whisper.
story.
I don't.
Okay. Oh gosh. There is a story behind that. And at the time when we moved here to go to your school, my significant other, as I must say, at the time, we used a different name. And we both had the same name. So when we started in the industry, every time we would go for an interview, they'd say, "Oh, you did that movie." And I'd say, "No, that was my ex." And then he'd go for an interview and they'd say, "Oh, you did that." And he'd say, "No, that was my ex." Well, unbeknownst to either of us, because we hadn't talked in a while, we both at the same time decided to change our names. His back to his original birth name. And mine was a little nickname that got thrown at me.
That's his original birth name?
Yes, it is.
Wild.
Wild.
That's wild.
Yes, it is. Yep.
That's terrific. But let's.
Unlike mine.
Well, it's very exotic.
What you got to tell me? That's the story.
Oh,
There's more to
a
this.
quick story, okay, about the
Well,
name.
we want to
I was working with a
that we do.
hairdresser who's Hungarian who nicknamed me Denavar, mostly because at the time I wore black all the time. and also drove a little black P1800 Volvo Sport Coupe like this.
You were the first goth I think I had in my life.
Possibly. But a little black, like Batmobile.
My little baby goth.
Well, Denavar means bat in Hungarian.
Oh.
Okay? And when the time came to
Todd
change...
McIntosh is going to be very, very jealous of that.
When the time came
He's
to
going to change his name to
That's right.
Denavar.
Denavar. And I
Gotcha, Todd.
I just felt it wasn't like enough Deborah Denavar.
I love you.
So, thanks to Anne Rice, Lamia means vampire in Greek. Hence the name Deborah Lamia Denavar, okay?
Lamia means vampire?
Vampire in Greek. So,
I thought it meant like Lamia, like my something.
well, it does in Italian.
Yeah, it does in Italian.
It's my,
But
Mia, my. Yeah.
Greece and Italy are so close,
Yeah.
and there's such a
Yeah.
difference between mine and
It's a different-
vampire.
Okay, the Lamia. So, yeah, there's the name Lamia Denavar. Sounds very, very
Oh yeah, baby. Ooh,
vampire
ooh, ooh.
bat out in the open.
I love it.
Yeah.
You don't hang upside down at night, do you?
Well, on occasion. It depends.
She loves Halloween.
It depends.
I love it.
So there's the name, okay? It was a nickname.
Moving right along.
Yes, that's right.
Speaking of wings, we have a couple ladies back here, or one lady here that is yours, that has wings, and this is from, which one? This is from Citizen Cone, isn't it?
Colin, yeah.
Citizen Go.
Citizen
Matthew and I
Cone.
together. Joint effort.
Fabulous. And it says here, outstanding individual achievement in makeup for a miniseries or a special Citizen Cohen. That's fabulous, Deborah.
It was a Hallmark,
Congratulations.
right? A Hallmark.
And you both-
I think it was HBO.
HBO.
And you have here a certificate of nomination for award. Be it known that Matthew W. Mungle and Deborah Lamia Denavar are Hungarian Greek vampires. We're both nominated for an Academy Award of Merit
right.
for outstanding achievement in 1996. Makeup, The Ghost of Mississippi. I'm never going to get the other one to come on as a guest now. And you know who I'm talking about. All right, we have here, this is the Hollywood Makeup Artist and Hairstylist Guild Awards. Best Contemporary Makeup Feature, Castaway, Deborah Lamia Denavar.
Yeah, with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, with Tom Hanks?
Yes.
How fabulous.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Joe, they don't make those anymore.
They don't make them anymore.
Special award.
Yeah, it is.
Great.
It is. It's fabulous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank
All
you.
this gold.
That was, I have to tell you, one of the highlights of my career was working on Castaway.
Yes. Tell us about it. You worked with Dan Streetbeck.
Danny Streetbeck.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, it was an honor. An honor and a pleasure.
I worked with Danny Streetbeck for about 2 weeks on we were over in Venice for what was the musical? Grease.
Grease.
It was Grease.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a
He's
semi-quasi apprentice.
Amazing artist.
Yeah.
Sweet,
Yeah.
nice gentleman.
Yeah.
Where
Tell us
your
about it.
construction makeup got me the job.
Really?
Yeah, interesting enough. I was on Green Mile, and I was the key makeup artist. Department head was Lois Burwell, and Danny was doing Tom Hanks.
Wow.
And Michael Clark Duncan had to look like he had never had owned shoes. Now, Michael is huge. He's huge. And he has feet that are quite appropriate for that body. And every morning we'd turn on Jerry Springer, set Michael up with his breakfast, and I would go to town on his feet. Now, the only thing I could think of, these feet had to last. He had to look like he never wore shoes, ever.
Yes.
And your teachings in construction makeup. And I tried a few other things, appliances, they didn't hold up in the water or the weight of his body.
Oh my God,
the
what
elements.
teachings held up on feet?
Simple latex and cotton and tissue.
Yes.
And
What were you using as an adhesive?
I used
It was on
Duo.
the top of the feet.
Duo.
right?
It was on the bottoms and the
On the
side.
bottom, so you encapsulated
To
the
make
entire
that
foot.
crust,
So
yes.
you made a shoe.
I made a shoe, a latex shoe.
There you have it.
Yep.
There it is, folks.
A latex shoe, and highlighted and shaded, and it held up to all the elements. And if I had to do a quick repair for a close-up,
Yes.
a little duo, those mini fans, you just pull it out, and
Danny
you just.
liked that, huh?
Danny saw me do this every day for that film.
Right.
At the end of the movie, he said to me, "Deborah," and I said, "Yes." And I was down on my knees doing these feet, cleaning up the feet, actually. And he said, "How would you like to come do a movie with me?" And I have to tell you, it caught me so off guard. And I looked out at him and I said, "Danny Streetbeck, you could have any man in the business come work with you." And he looked at me and he said, "Deborah, you're as good as any man." And I took that as the biggest compliment ever. And he said, "I've watched you every day of this movie do those feet. People don't do the simple, basic construction makeups."
They don't know. Nobody
He goes,
knows how
"It
to
held
do it."
up."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I learned that in school, thanks to Joe Blasco."
You told him that?
Yes, I did. And Danny said,
that's
"Well, it worked 30 years ago, and it works today."
I'd love to have Danny on as a guest.
Oh, he's
You should.
wonderful.
He's
Absolutely.
he's an icon.
And let me tell you, we all followed Danny on Castaway. We shot it on an uninhabited island in Fiji. And we stayed on boats. And then the first time we traveled 2.5 hours every day to this island.
Yes.
And he was like our God, if Danny could do it, we could do it. Trudging through the sand a mile every day.
He's such a professional man.
He is an amazing makeup artist as well.
can do
and he's
it
a
all.
wonderful
He is,
man.
absolutely.
And he gave
That's
me
why, that's why he's one of the old timers.
Yes.
And this is why he recognized that technique.
Yeah.
And he must have thought to himself, my God, look at this young girl here
That's right.
doing this that was originally done by Lon Chaney Sr. and Jack Pierce and Cecil Holland,
And it
Good
still
for
works
you,
today.
baby.
It
Good
still
for you.
works today.
Absolutely, if you know what you're doing. You can make it, you can do it as meticulous as you need to.
Yeah. And it saved my
Take care of the bottom.
That's right.
I love
That's
it. I
right.
love it. So now let's talk a little bit about the whole situation with the show here. Obviously, is that it's for graduates, right? And it's my way of introducing the world makeup community to my finest graduates. And so I know that you found out about the school because your significant other, Ron,
Right.
was one of my students.
Right.
And so, but what made you want to also become a student? Because you came to me and you applied and obviously, I recognize that you had the talent, or I wouldn't have given you the scholarship. But what made you decide to approach me?
I think having been part of it, I think it was your third year you had opened the school.
Yeah.
Your third or fourth. And I was privileged enough to come in and be the model. I was Ron's model.
Yes.
For almost all of it. I was Satan, I was, you name it, I was. And got to see the work that was actually produced and the teachings.
Yes.
And the teachings were amazing. I mean, that knowledge that you brought to
Thank you.
share, you just couldn't learn that.
I was a fanatic.
You
I
were.
was a complete
You were.
and total monster.
But on
You know.
a great note, and I knew that I had explored the fashion designing world for 5 years,
Yeah.
6 years, and I always knew that the whole look was what it was about. It wasn't just about the one thing.
Right.
You know, you can have a good skirt on, but if the makeup and hair's gone, wrong,
Right.
it's not a good look. So it really piqued my interest.
Yes.
And I was lucky enough that you took the time and said, hey, let's see what you got. And I, from there, I just went in head first.
Right.
You gave me the opportunity, and I had no money. We had no money, and you were generous enough
It's not
to.
about money, it was about the talent.
You were generous enough to say, "Hey, come aboard." Bring a kit and get in there.
What was your first job out of school?
Miller's Outpost. Miller's Outpost commercials.
Oh my.
I did 150 commercials a year right out of your school. Right out of your school. They traveled me
God, I never even worked that much.
everywhere. We did
Commercials.
150 commercials, and
Wow.
print work.
Right.
It was absolutely a whirlwind. And
Terrific.
again, a company, young company.
Right.
Oh, we need a prosthetic nose. Oh, we want to do elves and a Christmas. We need ears and a beard. And you had to come up with it.
Right out of the box.
Right out of the box, pretty much. And we did. Wax, mortician's wax was my
Construction
friend.
makeup,
That's it.
right.
And now it's not easier because we have the silicone and the latex, but in a sense it is
Gel.
because you don't have to worry about that nose shifting
Right,
as
right.
the actor's sweating.
Or
and-
melting.
Yeah, or
Right.
melting. And so I've done my share of those, and you open that world to me, and I'm still
Thank you.
very thankful.
Thank
and,
you, thank you.
And there isn't a time when I'm in that trench, up to here, saying, okay, go back, to that. You did Carol Burnett.
Yes.
And I have been blessed.
Off and on for 11 years.
Well, I've been blessed. I just did a film with her.
You did?
And that prepebral wipe back that you taught
Did
us.
she speak of me at all?
Yes, she did.
Was it good?
It was all good. It was all good.
I hope so.
This was actually my third time working with her.
She's so sweet.
And
I
she
loved
brought you up
working
every
with her.
time, and
I was having such terrible problems with my back during the last few years that I was working with her.
Mm-hmm.
Since then it's been handled and taken care of. But I was really not a happy camper at that time because I was in a tremendous amount of pain. And I was always carrying my dog around. Carol, you remember? Little Lucky, and we'd put him, I'd go to her house to make her up, and I'd be there in a back brace, and I had somebody else carrying my case, and we'd put Little Lucky under the makeup table in Carol's bathroom, or in her dressing room. She had such patience.
she's great and a true
Fantastic.
professional
Oh,
and
absolutely.
just a lovely, lovely woman. And she did mention you, and being a Joe Blasco graduate, she had all the confidence in me that I needed to get the job.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And
that's
thank
true.
you, Carol.
That's true.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh God, you're too much, baby. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
But that was basically, having that opportunity to collaborate
Yes.
with, because a lot of times in this business, makeup, hair, and wardrobe kind of get separated
Yes.
a little bit,
Yes.
As a graduate and as being an experienced professional, so to speak, and I consider myself a well-rounded artist.
Yes.
You have to look at the whole picture.
Absolutely.
Never go in blindsided and always, what's that going to look if I use this color lipstick with the hair and the wardrobe?
Right.
Or what's it going to look if we add more lashes? Or, this is a period piece. Let's, and you gave us those basics, to go and to grow with. And, that's what your school's about and what your passion is. And it really can pull out the passion in the rest of us.
Yeah, I'm still crazy. I'm
That's
still pushing.
Aren't all
I'm still
artists?
creating. I'm still pioneering.
That's
MUATV is another pioneering
Yes, it
effort.
is.
I'm to somewhat, raise the level of makeup education, to introduce the world to makeup artistry, to set the other teachers on their toes around the world.
It's about growing.
And to make others in other makeup schools as well want to excel and want to
Right.
stand out
Right.
in their work. You know, it's wonderful, and we've gotten such a response, you know, from this.
Great.
And you're part of this. You're part of
Well,
it.
I think as an artist, we never want to stop learning. It's always about
You can't.
more education.
That's what art
and
is. It's unlimited.
continual methods and learning other people's methods and bringing your own.
That's right.
Where you kind of fall
Right.
into place and using those elements.
Right.
And that's what you've given us.
Do you think what? Thank you for that, dear. Do you think one day you may like to come in and do a little demo for us?
Sure, sure.
Would that be great?
Yeah,
would
it
it be
would be
fun?
good. Yeah,
Oh,
Those feet.
I'd love-
Those
you could
feet,
do.
those
You could
construct-
reproduce the
the
feet.
Michael Clark Duncan
The
feet.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Green Mile, the Green Mile feet.
Yes. Okay. Oh, that's wonderful. Deborah, thank you so much for being
thank you.
here.
Thank
It's
you.
such a pleasure
Thank
and
you,
an
Joe.
honor, if I may say, to be with you tonight.
Thank you.
And I'm so proud of you, you know, for what you've done. You've
Thank
done
you.
such a wonderful
Oh,
job.
thanks to you.
Oh, no, no.
You
no.
opened that world. You
No,
opened
no,
those
no. All right,
doors,
enough,
and we
enough.
just had to keep going through.
Deborah Lamia Denevere, ladies and gentlemen. All right. And we're going to be right back right after this word.
Cheers.
Okay.